They said it couldn't happen. They said the pressure would crush him. But when the dust settled after 500 grueling laps at the unforgiving paperclip of Martinsville Speedway, the shockwaves were everywhere, especially for one driver. Because while the spotlight shone on the triumphant, the undercurrent of a quiet decision sent tremors through the championship picture. And for Kyle Larson? Terrible news looms. You saw the carnage. You felt the tension. The night of the 2025 playoff race was chaos wrapped in strategy, speed, and survival. Short track, tight corners, heavy brakes. Every moment mattered. And the stakes? A coveted berth in the Championship 4. The battleground was set, and the contenders brought battle gear. From the start, it was every driver's nightmare and ambition intertwined. The 0.526-mile layout demanded precision, endurance, patience. Long green flag runs that wore tires like a razor. Sudden cautions that upended the order like a gust of wind in a sandstorm. The result? The race turned into one of the most intense and emotional nights of the entire Cup Series season. Among the gladiators, William Byron in the number 24 Chevrolet. He emerged victorious, but not by luck, by control, by patience, by timing. That win marked his 6th of the season, and the 307th for Hendrick Motorsports, underscoring the organization's rule of the sport. More importantly, Byron's win locked in his place in the Championship 4 for the second year in a row. But go back with me for a moment. Let's rewind and look deeper, because by doing so, you'll see where Kyle Larson's world suddenly shifted. Let's begin with another key player. Ryan Blaney climbed through the field. The number 12 Ford for Team Penske gave him speed early, and his team executed flawless pit stops. They kept him near the front, but then the long green runs became a mirror of strategy and survival. Tire wear? His rear traction evaporated. He managed early, but the car's balance slipped as laps piled on. That loss of grip became the difference between first and second. Byron pounced. On the long run before the final caution, he made a clean pass for the lead. On the restart, Blaney gambled with the higher groove to carry momentum, but Byron's inside line drive off the corner sealed the deal. Blaney's effort? Nothing short of impressive. Starting deep and fighting to make up ground at Martinsville is a mark of skill. But the number 12 just faded faster than the number 24 when it counted most. Alongside Blaney, Joey Logano in the number 22 Ford was a force early. Top 5, good pace, keeping up with Byron and Blaney. But as the track cooled, as the sun went down, his car began to wander. What was once steady became unpredictable. A restart lane choice during the transition from Stage 2 into Stage 3 cost him track position. Once he slipped back, newer tires around him began gaining. On a track where passing is agonizingly hard, that slip buried him. Logano would finish in the top 10, but it wasn't enough to keep his playoff hopes alive. Just one decision, one mistimed move, 1 inch of lost rhythm. And then there's Christopher Bell in the number 20 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. He had to have a big finish. He had to show something. But his car simply didn't have what it needed for the long runs. He was solid for 20-30 laps of each stint. But then, the fade. Tire performance collapsed. Mid-pack was where he started, and mid-pack is where he stayed. No miracle adjustments could change the pattern. That brings us to Kyle Larson. Larson and his team at Hendrick Motorsports came into Martinsville with one goal: survive, without unnecessary risk. The number 5 Chevrolet was fast enough, but not dominant. Larson's strategy? Stay out of trouble. Avoid the pack war. Let others punch each other. Clean restarts. Strategic positioning. In a race defined by bruises and bruised egos, his calm would be the edge. And for most of the night, his plan worked. The car handled well during restarts. He avoided the congestion that traps drivers and ruins nights. He positioned himself strategically. He let opportunities come to him rather than chase them recklessly. Finishing among the top positions meant he secured his place in the Championship 4. No major risks, no dramatic pass for the win, but enough. But here's where the plot twist comes in. Because amid all that celebration for Hendrick Motorsports, 2 cars in the Championship 4, dominance reaffirmed, there was one decision, one quiet shift that spells awful news for Larson. That decision? Jeff Gordon. Yes, Jeff Gordon. Gordon's shocking decision reverberated through the Hendrick garages, through the paddock, through each driver's mind. I'll explain why his move changes everything. You see, Gordon stands as an advisor, a voice of influence, a strategic mind at Hendrick. His call wasn't just symbolic, it redistributed power, shifted trust, altered expectations. For Larson, the message is clear. The spotlight might have locked in, but the battle behind the scenes didn't stay quiet. What exactly Gordon chose? What it means for Larson? We'll dig into that in part 2. But trust this. For Larson, what seemed like a safe night, what looked like a ticket through the door to the final round, suddenly feels provisional. Because when someone like Gordon decides to shake the foundations, your seat becomes less secure than you think. Prepare yourself, because when the calm ends, the storm begins. And Kyle Larson, he might just be standing in the eye of that storm. Just hours after securing his spot in the Championship 4, a bombshell dropped from inside Hendrick Motorsports. A decision that came not from the crew chief, not from the pit box, but from the top. Jeff Gordon, the vice chairman and arguably the most influential voice in the Hendrick empire, made a move that turned celebration into suspicion. And the terrible news for Larson? He's no longer the golden child. Let me break it down. Gordon, the man who helped build Hendrick's dominance in this modern era, has always had a hand in strategy, resources, and, more importantly, where the team puts its focus. His endorsement is like a blessing, and after Martinsville, he gave it. Loudly, clearly. But not to Larson. It was all about William Byron. Gordon reportedly told the team that Byron's Martinsville performance was, quote, "one of the most complete races I've seen from a Hendrick driver in years." That wasn't just praise, it was a signal. A shot across the bow. And for Larson, it echoed louder than any engine on track. Think about the implications. Byron now has 6 wins this season. He's locked into the Final 4, and he's doing it all with clean, disciplined, machine-like consistency. Meanwhile, Larson, once the unstoppable force of Hendrick, is being told in not so many words, "You're not the top priority anymore." Sources close to the team say Gordon was seen in Byron's garage post-race, having what insiders called a private strategic review with Byron and his crew chief. Not a celebration, a review, a planning session. Byron is now the chosen one, the face of the franchise heading into Phoenix. And Kyle Larson? Left out of that conversation. Let's not sugarcoat this. Larson did what he needed to do at Martinsville. He ran smart. He survived. He didn't overextend. But in the high-stakes world of Hendrick Motorsports, that's not enough. Not when Jeff Gordon is realigning the spotlight. Not when the narrative is shifting. Not when the man who helped Larson return to dominance is now redirecting his energy towards someone else. This is where the tension builds. Because inside every super team, there's always a battle for attention, for resources, for priority. And now, Byron isn't just Larson's teammate. He's his rival inside the same house. Fans can feel it. Watch the post-race interviews. Larson was composed, sure. But Byron? He had that quiet fire. That look of a man who knows the chessboard is tilting in his direction. When asked about the upcoming Championship 4, Byron said, "We're in the best position we've ever been. The car's great. The team's locked in. We know what we need to do." Larson? His words were cautious. "We did what we needed to. Now it's about Phoenix." Not exactly a war cry. And what does this all mean going into the biggest race of the season? It means that even before the green flag drops in Phoenix, Kyle Larson is racing uphill. Because when your own organization starts leaning toward your teammate, when the man behind the curtain starts placing his bets elsewhere, every little mistake becomes magnified. Every strategy call becomes suspect. Every pit decision starts to feel political. This is the storm Gordon just stirred. Now sure, some will say it's nothing, just strategy, just planning. But make no mistake, this kind of behind-the-scenes shift changes everything. Because it's not just about the car or the track anymore. It's about trust, about focus, about who the team believes gives them the best shot at glory. And right now, that's not Larson. So what happens next? Phoenix is the final battlefield. Byron, Larson, Blaney, Hamlin. One race, one shot at the crown. But one driver walks into that arena with the full backing of Jeff Gordon's war room. And one walks in knowing that if he wins, it's going to be in spite of the politics, not because of them. That's the terrible news for Kyle Larson. He's in the fight, but it sure doesn't feel like he's got the full army behind him. So now I'm asking you, has Jeff Gordon made the right call? Is William Byron the future? Or has Hendrick Motorsports turned its back on the driver who carried them to glory not long ago? Drop your thoughts below, because this story, It's just getting started.